Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hive, the podcast for business owners who just need a little help in life. My name is Jessica, and today I have with me my guest, Hope. She is the owner of ePro Books. She is not only a bookkeeper, but a CPA. So she's the perfect person to answer today's question, the one that every one of you have. It's right there on the tip of your tongue. How do I get my CPA's attention during tax season? Hope, I'm hoping you have some answers.
I'm hoping I do too. Well, that's a loaded question because that's the number one complaint I hear from people that I'm newly onboarding. I can't reach my CPA. I think they may have died.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. All too often.
Yeah. And so I talk to them and I ask them, what's the best way for me to get a hold of you? And so they will tell me a variety of ways. And then I explain to them the best way to get a hold of me is by email. You can call the office, but you're going to get the receptionist. I may or may not have gotten that note that you called. Do not text message me because I don't read those text messages.
Right.
And so the best way to get a hold of me is through email.
So it's really great that you asked that question because I'm the exact opposite. My email, oh my God, my email box is atrocious. I don't like that's where things go to die in my world is the email box. Phone calls, if you want my attention, either call me, and if I don't answer, text me. But if you have to send an email, you better text me and tell me you sent the email because I will not find it.
And I have a lot of clients like that.
But just ask the question, like not to assume, because I mean, as we're progressing with technology, there's so many ways to get in touch with people. Direct messages through Instagram, through all sorts of social media posts, but we're not always checking those things, and sometimes they just get lost.
And another thing that my clients have learned over time is they don't just email me. They attach as many people in my organization as possible so that everyone is coming to me and saying, hey, did you get that email from so-and-so? And I'll be like, yeah, I got it. I took care of it. Trust me.
I like that one too. A little bit of accountability goes a long way for me, like having somebody else looking over my shoulder to make sure I didn't forget. Because let's admit it, everybody's busy. We're all going to forget. Something's going to drop through the cracks. So, what happens what would be your best suggestion if somebody's listening and they're like, okay, I've tried emailing, I've tried calling, I've even shown up at their office and I still can't get satisfaction?
Then hunt for a new CPA.
That's exactly it.
I mean, my
That is
goodness,
exactly
if
right.
they're showing up at the front door, and I've had people show up at my front door, which just happens to be my house too. You take them in. You give them what they need right then and there, or you give them a date. If they're getting turned away at someone's office, it's time to say, I'm not their priority. I need to be someone's priority.
So, as a CPA, do you just take any client that walks in the door?
Absolutely not.
And why is that?
Because their nature might not jive with my nature.
Okay.
And I'm more laid back and relaxed and not, going to be doing anything shady. A lot of people out there are looking for a shady CPA. Don't come to me. A lot of people are out there trying to look for the special loopholes. They don't want to pay the government.
Right.
And, you're going to get straightforward honesty from me. You're not going to get, soothing. I hate for people to pay taxes, but, you're going to have to pay your just dues too.
Right.
So
if we flip the script a little bit, so you don't take anybody that walks in your door. So neither should anybody out there looking for a CPA just take the first one that comes up. You should really go out there and interview them to make sure that you
look at the Google reviews, interview them, go to their office, go to their home, and sit down and have a casual conversation. Bring them some donuts or a drink or, something to kind of break the ice a little bit. But yeah.
And when's the worst time?
January, or actually, let me back up, December 1st to about April 15th.
And why's that? Because a lot of people don't understand that. They don't. What I notice a lot of the frustration too is that they don't understand your world. They don't understand the demands or the ebbs and flow of your business. And so they're like, well, I don't understand. It's December. Like, what is there to do? So enlighten us. Why that time frame is probably not the best time frame.
Well, in November, December, about that time, people are realizing that their books aren't done. And so they're calling and asking us to do a year's worth of books in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And they don't understand why it costs so much. Why is it taking so long? Why don't we have the 1099s done when we have other clients that have been with us all year
Right.
long? And we need to gather up their W-9s to do those 1099s and make sure everything is ready and accurate for W-2s and the year end that's coming up. And it's also the holidays. Everybody starts to slow down and refocus a little bit, and they're out being festive. And we're working our hardest at December 1st through the 31st of that month.
And then, so that's about the starting point. And then what happened? So I know, but let's educate everybody else. What happens in January? I call January, frankly, the hell month.
It is horrible, and it
is.
is one of our most profitable months. You would think that April was, but no. January, we are closing out payroll. We are getting all those annual reports off. We are making sure that Social Security is getting what they need, the IRS is getting what they need. The books are closed for December, that we review all the work that we did in December, make sure it's accurate and up to date, which in our company, I don't know about yours, but we do that at least every month, but quarterly if we're not doing it every month.
Right.
So it depends on what service our clients get.
And it depends too on the volume.
Right.
Yeah. And then again, not every company is the same. So a volume has a lot to do with it, but also complexity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the more complex they are, the harder it is to shut it down. We're going to touch later on 1099s, but to me, just that whole, and then there's been some changes coming out with the 1099s that's a whole nother thing that's going to add a different layer for this year, is that now we have to figure out, we got to be more diligent, I guess would be a better way of putting it, to make sure that we follow those guidelines as well. So then we have January, and then January's done, and there's no extension on that. Like January's cutoffs are January. It's not like you can get another 30 days. If you don't make it by the 31st, they're just late.
Right. And so, and we're dealing with our current clients and anybody who's onboarded before December 1st.
Right.
And then all that has to be finalized and turned in, and do the final D-Day for all that is January 31st.
Right.
So then people are calling us that last week of January to get their taxes done.
Right.
And we're like, dude, you haven't even finished January. We're not even obligated to get those W-2s out until the end of January. But a lot of companies have jumped the gun and have given it to them, and they want their taxes done immediately.
So probably not the best time to call and ask a CPA to get their taxes done would be that last week of January. Just a tip. Not really the best time. But then we have a little bit of a lull between like February, a little, you kind of go over the first hump to go back over the next hump again.
Yeah.
So then anything major in February?
Not.
And then March, we start with the deadlines. We have corporate taxes due.
Yep.
And then April, we have personal taxes due. But my experience is those deadlines are flexible, not as hard pressed.
Right.
You have to get something. If you owe money,
you have to pay no matter what by April 15th.
Right.
And
but then how do you know? So here's
I know you have to do their whole tax return.
Return.
Yeah.
Right. And so then that's where people are like, well, I don't think I owe. So I'm like, well, how do you like, what's your formula for thinking you don't owe? And so they're like, but I haven't heard from my CPA. I was like, you probably should reach out.
That is where good communication with your bookkeeper really comes into part.
Right.
So you really need to have, and several of my clients, we go out to lunch, and we sit there and we talk about how their businesses are doing. Well, I just looked at your books this morning because I want a refresher, make sure that I'm going to give them accurate information. And it looks like we're pretty good on paying taxes this year.
Right.
It'll be really close for some people. Other people, no,
They
they're,
just know they're going to have to pay.
yeah.
It's just part of their life. What is the biggest mistake you see most business owners making in the way of taxes?
It's how they set up their businesses.
Okay, tell me a little bit more.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, and we have fixed this issue. We had a gentleman, he got fired from his bookkeeper, which was fun because he's been great for me. I really appreciate that, by the way. He was a sole proprietor, and he made over $150,000 the first year in business. And I came in at the end of that first year of business, and I told him, you can't do this again. And he paid a lot of money in taxes. Well, a single person, even head of household or a married couple, the highest that you'll pay your tax rate is 37%. And if you plan on making millions, which I pray all companies do,
Yeah.
that 37% is a lot of money to pay. $370,000
Yeah,
on $1
that'll
million
cut
bucks.
deep.
Yeah. He was well on his way to making $5 million
Wow.
that second year in business. So we restructured his business, all of them. And we went from a sole proprietor to a C Corp, an S Corp, and several other partnerships, and got the profit spread out amongst the businesses. And with that $5 million, we were able to get his taxes down below $15,000.
Oh, wow.
That was incredible.
Wow.
And that was with a great lawyer and someone who recognized that he was headed as a sole proprietor in the wrong direction.
Right.
So it's setting up your business to begin with.
So it sounds like the best thing any business could do, one, make sure that their CPA knows where they're going, where
Right.
they're heading, but also have a pretty good beat on where you are right now.
Yes.
And gauge that, like, this is where I want to be and this is where I am.
Right.
So that you can restructure and avoid those big tax pitfalls at the end of the year.
So I have several companies that want to grow, but they are still a sole proprietor. They're not ready to move into an S Corp or something different. They need to stay where they're at. And the difference is because there's more tax benefits for them to stay as a sole proprietor than to move forward.
Right, right.
So
the tax laws, that's one of the reasons why I personally stay as a bookkeeper, because I can't keep up with the tax laws. They're just, to me, they're constantly changing.
horrible.
And if I want to go to sleep at night, I'll just break one out and open it, and I don't even have to read it. I'll just go to sleep thinking about reading it. So what is the one thing you wish that a business owner wouldn't do? Like, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, that's a great question. What is my Google search?
Okay.
And then come to me and ask me the question and then reiterate what Google told them. It's like going to the doctor and telling them, I know what my diagnosis is. Let me tell you how to fix me.
So it's so great that you brought that up, because I was actually thinking about that prior to doing this, and I was thinking one of the questions I was going to ask you was, what do you think about AI replacing bookkeepers? And so I was kind of thinking that answer through my head on all the things you could say, and I was like, there's no way AI is ever going to replace us as bookkeepers, because you can get pretty much any answer you want out of AI if you, depending on how you word the question. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it kind of goes into the same vein where people go and look or ask AI or Google it, and then they don't really get the full answer. They just get this little piece, and
so they're getting an answer based on the world's concept,
right?
Not for them personally where they're going. It's not doesn't have the human feel to it.
Right.
So let's talk about your goals, where you're at now. Let's play those chess pieces. Yeah, AI might be helping you with strategy and stuff along the way, but they can't say, okay, with that in mind, let's try this approach.
Right.
And have those gut feelings that, I just don't feel good about that. So AI, that's very interesting that it thinks it's going to replace bookkeepers. And I have seen, not to name drop QuickBooks, but their AI on the transactions as the bank feed comes through,
It's awful.
it is wretched. It will double up a client's
Yes.
income in a heartbeat, and you're paying double.
Right.
And on taxes that you didn't even earn money
Because
on.
I think the problem is like they're taking the suggestions, and the suggestions may be on surface, just looking at that one, be right, but it doesn't know. It doesn't know. It could have been like an owner's draw or an owner, like it could have been something, because a lot of people commingle their business with their personal. Don't do
we're
that.
not. Yeah, don't do that.
It's not suggested. We could do a whole different podcast on just that topic alone.
Heavens, yes.
But I mean, it doesn't know. It doesn't. And then I can't tell you how many times I've seen QuickBooks classify things as expenses that were really something that belongs on the balance sheet. Like it just wasn't credit card payments, for example. Like it just gets it all wrong.
And that's how I know when I look at someone's chart of accounts or their P&L statement, if they were dealing with a bookkeeper or a fly-by-night bookkeeper. A real bookkeeper would never use a category called credit card expense.
Yep. That's a good tip. So look through your accounting, and if that's on your P&L, you might want to rethink what's going on.
Get a new bookkeeper.
So let's see. We've covered pet peeves. Tell us what got you here. Why are you doing what you're doing?
With bookkeeping?
Or with with the bookkeeping and with being a CPA. What called you into this?
Okay, so wow, I started this back when I was 21 years old.
Wow.
I knew that I was really good with numbers. And back then, we didn't have cell phones that would remember phone numbers for us. So we had to have every phone number memorized.
I did at that point. I can't even dial my daughter's now. It's terrible.
I know, right? But I never had an issue with remembering numbers.
Oh, wow.
But I couldn't spell to save my life. And I loved algebra. And bookkeeping to me was always what you do to one side, you have to do the other, debits and credits.
Right.
So that's what I went to college for, was accounting. And then as I was dealing with small businesses, my love for the small businesses grew. And that's when I decided to get a master's degree in entrepreneurship, was to help small businesses grow.
And I think that's why you and I jive so well, because although we came different directions to get where we are, I think ultimately we have the same goal. So I had no idea. I like numbers. I can't retain them to save my life. I can look at my bank account and 5 seconds later forget how much money's in there. I don't retain it. I like the math. I do like the balancing part of it to me. And I like that numbers are numbers, and they don't wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning with an excuse on why they can't come to work. So that is my favorite thing about being in this industry. No, second favorite. My favorite thing is working with the business owners. That has always been my passion. And I usually use the accounting as kind of my foot into the door with them, because accounting is the fundamental on every business, no matter what you do. No matter what you do.
It's interesting because in my 30 plus, years of experience, accounting is the first thing they'll cut when a business isn't doing well.
And that makes no sense to me.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'm okay with it. I mean, yeah, if you want, it's your call, but I will tell you right now, you don't want to cheap out on your accounting, and you don't want to cut it first. You need to look and ask your bookkeeper, where am I spending too much money? How can I cut back?
And to me, if they were working with their bookkeeper all along, they would have been trimming. Like bookkeepers, the ones that I know, they send out regular P&Ls and balance sheets. Like I know when every time we do a reconciliation, we send a P&L by month so that they can see how they're progressing throughout the year. We send a detail for that month so they can see all the transactions to make sure that we didn't miscategorize something. Then we send a balance sheet and a cash flow. And so then we send them those. I would say probably maybe 10% of my people actually read them, which is something that I would love to have shift. But the ones that do read them, the ones that do set up monthly appointments with us, and the ones that we do tweak, we're constantly looking at, oh wow, why did that double? Or oh, that should have never run through my credit card. It's the best way to find fraudulent transactions or cut expenses, or maybe I need to rethink my merchant services expense because it's way more than what I should be paying.
Right. Or they're eating out too much and they don't realize that.
Yep.
Or their office expenses are really high. We just had a situation this last week where a lady called me up and said, my income is way too high. It's double what it needs to be. Well, when we looked at it, I noticed that the invoices were getting paid by QuickBooks, but the deposits weren't being matched up with the payments.
Yeah, so it
They were
doubled
going,
it.
yeah. So that's why I said you have to be careful. And if you're talking to your bookkeeper regularly, you can find these early in and not in December and January when we are the busiest and we're not able to focus in on your stuff like we should be.
So I'm going to circle back around as we start to wrap this up again. So the whole point of this was to be like, hey, I'm a business owner. I can't get a hold of my CPA. What do I need to do to make this work better? Because I think ultimately every business owner doesn't really want to get to that extension deadline because it really stresses them out. So let me kind of explain that for those that may not understand it. If you go to file your taxes in April and you don't have your tax returns done yet, you can file an extension and you have until October 15th if it's a
personal.
And if it's a corporate,
September 15th.
And that throws a lot of people off. So if you have an S Corp or a C Corp, correct?
Or a partnership.
They're actually due a month early. So I can't tell you how many people scramble at the end going, oh my God, I thought it was October. Nope, it's September. But then what happens is they get busy into the summer mode and then that deadline flies up on them as well.
Right.
And I think that stresses them out just as much as April 15th because once again, they're not prepared. So what are some tips that you as an accountant and as a bookkeeper, what are some things that they can do to not let that sneak up on them?
What the deadlines? Make an appointment with your CPA. Make an appointment to go and see them or talk to them before those deadlines. In the middle of June, you should be making an appointment then. So at the beginning of summertime, it's on your mind and that you guys can work through the summer. And then ask your CPA, when is the next time I can talk to you? When's the next time we should be talking to get this resolved? How much time do you need to go through this? You know, those kind of questions. A lot of times I'll tell my clients, okay, we just talked about this. This is what I expect from you. I want to talk to you again in 2 weeks. I want to have this matter cleared up and by this date.
Right.
And ask them to set a date in stone and then call them out on it if they don't follow through.
That's a really good idea. I like that a lot. Okay. Any other suggestions or tips?
Make an appointment. I mean, my receptionist, he'll be like, yes, let's set an appointment right now for you. I know she's really busy, but at least she can call you at this day and time to reach out to you and we'll follow through.
One more question.
Don't text me.
What is the biggest misconception you think business owners have about the accounting world in general?
That they're our one and only client. I love you dearly. I want to treat you like my one and only, but unless you pay me, really, really well.
Big numbers.
Yeah. big numbers, you are not my one and only client.
And so by that, what does that look? So I know in my world what that looks like. That looks like, hey, do you have a minute? I need to review this something with you. Or hey,
Yes.
I need this report done by the end of the day.
Yes.
Or
I'm buying a house and I need this by tomorrow.
yeah.
I was like, well,
Well, that's
how,
great because I've been getting a hold of. I've been trying to reach you for the last 5 months, trying to get some questions answered
yeah,
on your bookkeeping, and now you need it all done in a day.
yeah.
Hmm.
Let me drop that for you. And
And then also, we love you guys dearly,
yeah,
but
don't get
then you
that
don't
wrong.
explain. They don't understand why that rush equals this cost.
Right. And
Because
that's if your bookkeeper is charging you for that
right,
rush. You
right.
know, sometimes we're like, okay, we'll do it. And we do it because we're, great people. But
Because we love businesses.
yeah,
We're a sucker for them.
yeah. But
And I
there's,
think too we've been in their shoes in a lot of
yes,
ways. And that's for me that's what makes me answer the phone. That's why it makes me answer that question. And I try really hard to be like, did you understand that? No? Okay, let me try a different approach. You want me to draw it out for you? Like, what can I do to help you understand this? Because I've been on the other side on other things, maybe not on accounting, but like insurance. Oh my gosh, I do not understand the insurance world. It makes no sense to me. I think it's a scam. But every time I have to get insurance, I need somebody to break it down for me. And I need them to talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. And so I do that for accounting.
I have a husband that's kind of sits in and sometimes he overhears things and he'll wave his hand and he'll say, Hope, you need to dumb it down.
Right.
Because I don't understand it. I know that they're not going to understand it.
Right.
So, I mean, I do have that kind of advantage, that I have to remember that I'm talking to my husband and not, myself, where
Right.
I understand the terminology. So I get that. I feel really bad because, I know something and I think that they should know it too. And
That's like that t-shirt that says, when you see me talking to myself, it's because I need an expert opinion.
yeah, holy
All
cow, I need
right.
that shirt.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, would you like to share anything else with our viewers?
Um,
I know. How can they reach you? Not text message, but what's the best way to reach you?
you can email me anytime.
And that email address?
Is hope@eprobooks.com.
And we'll have that in the notes below. Or you can just call me and I'll be more than happy to share her information with you.
I am more than able, or let me start again. I am more than willing to answer any questions for anyone. And if we need to reevaluate your entity type of your business, then I'll be more than happy to do it. Usually the break-off point is if you're making about 150,000 in my eyes, then we need to look at what you're doing and you're ready to grow into something.
And be careful because it depends on what stage you're at too. So yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces. Like honestly, businesses are there's every business is unique, but the foundation and the building blocks are all the same. It just depends on how fast you're climbing that ladder. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I'm Jessica, and you have been watching The Hive.